On September 25, 1852, in St. Louis, Missouri, the Gresham plantation gleams under a deceitful sun, its cotton fields stretching pale and endless, fed by blood and bone, as the big house prepares for a wedding meant to seal alliances among landowners, its drive lined with lanterns, tents bursting with imported wine, cheese, and meat too costly for those who cook it, while an enslaved man, his shoulder scarred with a branded G from a childhood of fire and iron, moves silently through the chaos, his eyes mapping every exit, every knife, every shadow, carrying not just the weight of his own pain, but the screams of a mother beaten down, the noose of a father hanged as a warning, and the songs of ancestors buried in the soil. The master's daughter, pale in blue silk, watches him from the porch, her gaze not cruel, but curious, later pulling him into a parlor smelling of perfume and pride, asking if he reads, circling him as she whispers, "They say you fought when they branded you." Bit a man's hand. "Why, when you knew they'd win?" And he answers, low and dry, "Didn't do it to win." Her face shifting, intrigued, calling him dangerous with a smile that hides unease, while the plantation hums with preparations. A carriage rolling in with the groom, a slave trader from Virginia, his coat reeking of lead and silk, his grin sharp enough to cut souls, shaking hands with the master, their laughter brittle, too loud, as the daughter greets him stiffly, her embrace like hugging a ghost. The enslaved man, unseen, slips into the slave quarters at night, taking a jar of dark powder from an elder, her hands stained with ash, her warning clear, one pinch to loosen the spine from the soul. More and the devil won't want the body. He tucks it away, later uncorking a single wine bottle in the cellar, sprinkling the powder, resealing it with wax, placing it third from the left, his hands steady. His eyes burning with purpose, knowing the groom always chooses that bottle after dinner. The wedding day dawns gold and false, guests arriving in waxed moustaches and tight corsets, their gloves spotless, their words rehearsed. The daughter in white standing rigid, eyes blank as the ceremony unfolds on a raised altar draped in linen, built over roots that once held a father's final breath, the preacher quoting scripture without flinching, the groom speaking vows like a conqueror claiming soil, the daughter repeating hers like someone buried alive, while the enslaved man serves wine unnoticed, watching the groom lift the third bottle, pour, drink, his face unchanged for now. Inside the hall, chandeliers gleam, couples swirl to soft music, the floor polished to a shine, but the air grows thick, smiles tighten as the groom sways during the dance, sweat beading, stumbling, collapsing to his knees. Gasps rippling through the crowd, the master barking, "Get him up!" as the enslaved man steps forward, calm, saying, "He needs air, I'll take him," dragging him outside, past the altar, into the dark behind the stables, where the groom coughs, confused, falling to the gravel, the enslaved man pulling a blade from his boot, kneeling, pressing it to the groom's chest, whispering, "You made cages for children, bought women like cattle, this land don't belong to men like you," driving the blade in, twisting, pulling it out slow, the groom's mouth opening in a silent scream, his eyes empty under the full moon. Back in the hall, the enslaved man re-enters, hands empty, meeting the daughter's gaze across the room, her whisper cutting through the murmurs. "Is he dead?" And his nod carries no shame, her voice trembling. "I didn't know what they did, not really," his reply sharp. "You didn't ask," as the master barks orders, but no one moves, the enslaved man stepping closer to the daughter, blade low, saying, "You wore white to celebrate ownership. That color was never yours," her lips trembling. "Do it." But he drops the blade, its clatter louder than any scream, telling her, "Dying wouldn't teach you, living with the weight might," turning past the master, now a ghost of himself, past the stunned crowd, pausing at the altar to pour ashes from a pouch, the wind carrying them away. He walks to the storage shed, its walls lined with ledgers, names of the enslaved, written in clean ink, lives traded like coin, lighting a match, the flame small at first, then roaring, consuming papers, names bleeding into smoke, the fire licking the walls, the roof, the sky, as the master stumbles out of the big house, screaming, while the enslaved man walks past the fields, past the stables, into the night, not running, but moving in truth. The plantation burning behind him, its glow a final prayer, the soil restless with old names, the house of Gresham falling, but the names it tried to erase still alive, whispering in the wind.